Take a look at these titles. Which do you think is real and which is fake? They may look similar, so you might think, oh, they're both fake. But in reality, only one is. What does this tell us? Well, I have manipulated what you see to make it seem equally preposterous, which may lead you to be confused and doubt your decision. Now, imagine I am the media. You're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you, but through the next 5 minutes, I will tell you why you should. Listening to conspiracy theories can be constructive for you. The media's hold over us has made us more likely to trust them. In turn, it has made us less likely to question them. Conspiracy theories are able to remind us to always be curious for ourselves and to keep asking questions. While many conspiracy theories are proof that sometimes people can go overboard with their assumptions, there are some that may just teach us an important lesson. People will tell you that conspiracy theorists, or as some of us call them, skeptics, cannot be reasoned with and that we have nothing to learn from them. But they're wrong. Conspiracy theories have unexpectedly taught me to inculcate the principle of being constantly inquisitive and allowing my inner child's curiosity to thrive. I'm not making much sense, am I? But let me break it down for you. Let's begin with the first question. What exactly are conspiracy theories? Essentially, it is the belief that certain events are influenced or created by plotting conspirators to hide the actual truth. Your usual ones are Princess Diana staging her death, the moon landing being fake, and the existence of Illuminati. A main factor of how these conspiracy theories come into play is the hugely manipulative emotions of fear and anxiety. But I'll elaborate on that later. These emotions, even though they can make people irrational sometimes, can also ignite our innate human nature of being curious. The countless inventions and discoveries that have been made throughout the years by the human race is proof of this possession of curiosity. Unfortunately, this pivotal aspect is now suppressed due to the sheer information overload we face in a media saturated world, which is caused by postmodernism. Postmodernism is a phenomenon we all face. If I ask you to imagine your perfect world, how many of you envision one that is devoid of advertisements and media? A world where you don't see our massive billboards on the roads, or a world where your phone doesn't have any type of social media. The ones who did not are a product of the postmodern world we live in today. This includes myself, because let's face it, I'm a teenager. Social media is a part of my daily life. Advertisements, shows, movies, and social media are so heavily produced that they have become a part of our reality, as real as the trees and the cars and the buildings we see outside. It has become so ingrained in our subconscious that we don't realize that it's not normal. We are in a constant state of hyper reality. Our matrix is the constant influx of media shaping our perceptions of how to be human and how we should be living in dramatically different ways, resulting in us being uncertain about the definitions of these key aspects of our existence. This uncertainty propels the emotions of fear and anxiety, leading many to not really know what to think. It also makes us more susceptible to believing in fake media and news. It's easier for authorities and sources to just fool us into trusting what they say because if we're uncertain about their answer, what does it matter? We're uncertain about everything. To test this out, how much of what you know about the Chernobyl disaster is from its actual history and how much is from cultural products and media? For me, I thought what happened in the movie Transformers was what actually happened in Chernobyl for a shamefully long amount of time. But this is where conspiracy theories once again come into clutch, as they tell us that skepticism can be warranted and that it's always better to question rather than to accept. Additionally, conspiracy theories may arise due to misinformation and a lack of cemented fundamentals, leading to uncertain conclusions. Our generation sees these shows and movies and social media showing simulations of people that have money or are rich and comfortable, overlooking the fact that these people aren't actually real, and or that their situations are manipulated to look more successful and attractive to viewers. This obliviates the younger generation from these very real issues that they are then suddenly bombarded with when they grow up, causing a sudden culture shock. We realize that the things we spend our entire lives believing in are nothing but simulations and not a part of our day to day reality. How do you fix this? You ask questions to break this pattern. An example of a conspiracy theory that spanned the globe for almost a decade is the Phoebus cartel. A fire station in California houses the Centennial Light, which is just a really cool name for the longest shining light bulb. So, why, even though there is something like the Centennial Light to exist, do our light bulbs have such a short lifespan? Well, many years ago, in the 1920s, the Phoebus cartel, which was a group comprising of the top light bulb companies at the time, was created to fulfill one legacy: to make the incandescent light bulb's lifespan shorter to maximize profits. This continued well until the 1930s, until it was eventually discovered and debunked by a book about a sentient light bulb called Byron by writer Thomas Pynchon. I remember reading this about the Phoebus cartel and how fascinated I was with the success in hiding such a massive ploy. Of course, it was wrong that they did it for their own greedy interests, but you have to admit, it's not an easy thing to do. It did teach me another lesson, though, which was if I didn't know how something worked, I would ask about it. As mentioned previously, many conspiracy theories arise because people are not aware of the elementary basis of a system. This very simple problem could be solved if we were all like that annoying kid that kept asking why. And instead of wanting to bang your head against a wall, you can keep searching, going past the millions of definitions for a single thing, eventually figuring out how the world works, and never be in the dark. Pun intended. All of this shows us that asking questions is a major factor in debunking conspiracy theories. I'm making more sense now, aren't I? Look inside your mind. Consider whether you've been asking as many questions as you should be. Remember never to succumb to a world governed by media, and rather than accepting simulation as fact, to break through it and define your own world. My message to you is to go out into the world inspired, to let your inner child's curiosity to thrive. It's a very common thing to forget that we have free will and that we can do literally anything we want. So, if you don't know how something works, or you aren't totally convinced or satisfied with an answer given to you by whoever, be it a random person or an authority, ask. Be curious. Don't just accept that there's no other answer to something, or that there's no other way to find out how something works. Because there's always another answer, and there's always a way to find out how something works. Today, I implore you to be the annoying kid you all know and sometimes hate that keeps asking why. And if someone tells you to stop asking, they might just be part of a conspiracy.